Hey guys, Ken here. I'm here to give you an update on what I'm going to be doing as far as podcasts coming up on the channel. Now, I have a couple different things lined out for you guys. Now, I do want to do a podcast where I talk about Dragon Ball, and there's a couple different things where I wanted to talk about Dragon Ball. So, I'm not a Dragon Ball expert, but I am a huge fan of the show. So I decided I wanted to tell my version of Dragon Ball AF and actually try to voice act out certain pieces of it and pay or get people to help out with the project to create my own Dragon Ball AF storyline, kind of like what Toyable, Young GGG, and all these other fan manga creators are doing. But instead of mine being just a fan manga, I'll make some images and stuff, but I also want to be able to portray and give the characters more depth, more feel, their own personality and voice. So, I'm going to be doing it as a podcast and see how it takes off from there. And it actually should be really good and really interesting to see how this should play out. It will be available on Anchor, and it should also be available, I'm thinking, on Instagram TV as well. So that way I'll be able to show my images as well, or for any of the artwork that goes with it. Another one of my podcasts is going to be called the Alola Ken Podcast. It's going to be a podcast that basically wraps up everything that happened during the week that I found interesting as far as like myself. Anything that has to do with technology, gaming, anime, manga, you name it that I find interesting, I'll wrap up in this podcast. Just like my YouTube channel, it will not have anything to do with anything political or anything religious. And there are reasons behind that, but the biggest reasons is that everyone has their own feelings towards that stuff, and I don't feel comfortable expressing my feelings about that stuff. So I'm going to avoid those subjects the best that I can. So those are the two podcasts that I'm going to be focusing on right now. There is probably another one that I'm going to be working on at some point. And that's probably going to be a podcast that has something to do with just purely like specials. I do have one that I'm currently trying to work on. Right now, it's titled Reasons Relationships. Well, technically it's not Reasons Relationships, it's Reason Ships. It should be coming out within the month of June. And basically what Ships is, it's going to be talking about a lot of different things, friendships, relationships, and it's just going to give you an in-depth sight on, how we as humans should interact with one another, and also how, the feelings of one person to another can be interpreted or misinterpreted. And it's supposedly supposed to help us, bring everybody together. It's more of an original work, and it's something interesting that should be pretty heartfelt and might actually pull a few strings on you or make you think a little different or think a little differently about, how you go about your everyday life or interact with people. Anyway, that's about it. And we'll see you on the next episode of, well, whatever you want to call this. It's just an update for the podcast. I'm Ken, signing out. Later.